There's this funny idea that the more we own, the happier we'll be. But let's think about that. We're working harder than ever and making more money, but our bank accounts, they're not really showing it. And due to this, over the last 30 years, we owe more money than before. And spending? Well, it's almost like a hobby for us now. Most people have around 4 credit cards in their wallets. And malls? They're more common than schools. 70% of us stroll through one every week. Our homes are twice as big as they were 50 years ago, and it seems like we have more TVs than people to watch them. But here's the thing, we often end up buying stuff we don't really want, with money we don't really have, sometimes just to impress people. It's a bit of a trap, this consumerism mindset. So, what can we do differently? Well, we are here to share 10 simple ways to change your consumerism mindset. But before that, we have to first know this type of mindset. You've probably heard of the American dream. A long time ago, like 100 years back, it meant something pretty different from today. It wasn't about having loads of stuff or being super rich. It was more about everyone getting a fair chance, equality, justice, and having a say in things. But over time, especially around the Cold War, this dream changed. It started to mean having lots of things, showing off success through stuff we buy. That's kind of stuck with us. And now, when we talk about the American dream, it's often about buying and owning more. Now, why we buy? It's not just about what we need or want. There's a whole science to it. Marketers, the people who want to sell us stuff, they really dig into this. They look at our actions, why we choose certain things, and even how our minds work when we shop. It's a mix of psychology, how our mind works, sociology, how we interact with others, and economics, all about money and resources. By understanding all this, brands can really get our attention, make us loyal to them, and, sell more. And there's this thing called neuromarketing. It's like a combo of brain science and marketing. They use fancy tech to see how our brains light up when we see ads or products. This helps them figure out what we really like, sometimes even before we know it ourselves. For instance, there's this study where they used eye tracking, basically seeing where people look the most. Turns out, how something is packaged can really grab our attention. Some parts of the packaging make us look more than others. So, now that we understand a bit about why we shop the way we do, let's explore how we can change that mindset. First up in changing our shopping mindset is switch from fast to slow purchasing. Ever find yourself quickly saying yes to purchases? That's our emotions leading the way. But for smarter shopping, we need our mind at the wheel. How do we do this? Start by writing down what you need. Then, take a breath and research before buying. By slowing down, you give control back to your mind. This helps move from impulsive buys to thoughtful choices, reducing the chances of getting something you might not really need. Now, for our second tip, it is make shopping a bit more of a challenge. You know how sometimes shopping feels too easy, almost fun? Well, what if we add some hurdles? Think about buying only ethical and eco-friendly products. This choice alone limits your options and makes shopping harder. Ever tried finding something truly sustainable at your local store? It's not that straightforward, and it slows you down. Other quick ideas? Delete shopping apps from your phone, or go bigger, limit your internet access. Even consider ditching your credit cards. The harder it is to shop, the more you think about each purchase. It's all about turning impulsive buys into thoughtful decisions. Way number 3 is all about the mall challenge. Most of us have spent time in malls, right? Hanging out, grabbing a bite, and sometimes buying stuff we don't really need. Next time you're at the mall, try this. Pretend you're a researcher, not just a shopper. Take a step back and watch people. See what they're buying, listen to their conversations. Be a bit of a detective, but, without being creepy. Spend some time just observing. It's actually pretty interesting. You'll notice how people justify their purchases, chatting with salespeople or their friends, just like you probably do. You'll hear stuff like, "How long is the sale? I need to replace this." Or, "Mummy, can I get this?" These conversations are a window into how we all think in a mall. By observing like this, you start seeing the mall in a new light. You get the real picture of how we fit into this whole shopping system. Moving forward, way number 4 is all about decluttering to uncover some hard truths. Ever had that moment when you're moving house and you're just shocked at how much stuff you have? On the surface, it looked like we didn't have much. But wow, things just kept coming out of nowhere. The clutter we accumulate is actually a mirror of our shopping habits. It's like checking your bank account before setting a budget, or measuring your waistline before starting a diet. So, go through your things. It's a real eye-opener to see what you've been buying over time. As you declutter, you'll start understanding your shopping behavior better. And guess what? It's a great motivator to get a handle on those consumerist tendencies. You'll feel lighter and more in control. Next up, what you can do is making our stuff last longer. If you're someone who can fix a sweater or spruce up an old coffee table, you're already on the right track. But what if you're not exactly a whiz at repairs? No worries. There's help out there. Got a friend or a relative who's handy with tools? Know a place where they fix stuff, like a repair cafe? Or maybe there's a professional service you can use, like taking your shoes to a cobbler or your phone to a tech store. By fixing and maintaining what you already have, you start to really value your belongings. It changes how you see things. You become more thoughtful about what you bring into your life, focusing on quality and longevity. Next way to shift your shopping habits is to think of shopping as a skill, not just a pastime. We often pride ourselves on being savvy shoppers, hunting for deals and bragging about bargains. But this shopper identity can lead us to shop just for the sake of it. Let's change our perspective. View shopping as a mission to find exactly what you need, the right tool for the right job. For example, if you need a car, go for that one, which fit your need not because it is. And it isn't about the car or the things we buy. It is about what purchasing that car or thing enabled us to do. By focusing on the role of what you're buying in your overall experience, rather than the thrill of the purchase, you can steer clear of a consumerist mindset. Next up, avoid the trap of free. Freebies can be tempting, right? Whether it's a gift from a friend or a promotional item, it feels good to get things without paying. But here's the catch. Not all free things add value to our lives. When offered something for free, ask yourself, do I really need this, or is it just going to add to my clutter? By defaulting to no before saying yes, you avoid accumulating stuff you don't need. It's about being selective and understanding that sometimes free things can become burdens in disguise. This helps prevent future clutter and keeps you from falling into the habit of accepting everything just because it's free. Moving forward, the next way is the deathbed test. Imagine you're on your deathbed, reflecting on your life. What are your fondest memories? Chances are, they're about experiences and people, not things. Our lives are usually defined by great moments and experiences, not the stuff we own. So, when you're tempted to buy something to feel better, try the deathbed test. It gives you instant perspective, reminding you that it's the experiences and relationships that truly enrich our lives, not the things we accumulate. Next way to change the consumerism mindset is replace shopping with hobbies. Here's a thought. What if we swap some of our shopping time for hobbies or family time? Data from the US Census says the average American over 15 spends about 10 hours a month shopping for stuff. Imagine cutting that in half. You'd free up 5 hours every month. Maybe for that hobby or side hustle you've been dreaming about, not to mention the money you'd save. To see how this works for you, try looking back at your last month's purchases, excluding groceries. Think about how long you spent browsing and researching each item. Track this for, say, the next 6 months. As you become more aware of the time spent shopping, you'll naturally start redirecting those hours to other activities. Finally, the last way to change your consumerism mindset is treat your things like inventory. Once you've decluttered your home, it's time for the next step. Treat your belongings like store inventory. Basically, this means protecting the shelf space you have at home for your stuff. Let's say you're eyeing new shoes. First, check your current shoe storage. Is there space for another pair? If not, you'll need to make room by letting go of a pair you already have. This approach adds a bit of friction to new purchases. It's not just about adding more and more. It's about being mindful of the space you have and what you can realistically keep. That ends today's video. We really hope you found these tips on changing your consumerism mindset helpful and thought-provoking. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to drop a comment below. And if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell icon too, so you won't miss out on our weekly informative videos. Thanks a lot for watching, and we wish you the best in making these mindful changes in your life.